So Blaine is asking me sort of a funny question that has nothing to do with the banjo. He has found out somehow that I had a nickname in the Army where they called me the Mad Shitter. And I've promised that I would explain why they called me the Mad Shitter. I had several nicknames in the Army. The first nickname I got was the Mad Shitter. And so it's a play on the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. And it's also a play on this guy, this character that was in Iraq at the time that we were there. This is 2003, right after the invasion. We used to get mortared all the time. So if you guys aren't familiar, a mortar is basically, it's an artillery tube, and you drop a light artillery shell down the tube. It hits a primer, it hits a firing pin at the bottom, sets that shell off, goes thump, boom, and it blows up. And so it's a great close range weapon because the Iraqis could pull up pretty close to our perimeter, and they could hang, we called it hanging mortars. They could hang these mortar shells and drop them down the tube, thump, and thump them over our perimeter wall, and they would land in our proximity. None of us ever got killed by them, but I think we had some people get wounded, and we had some damaged vehicles and some, so it scared the hell out of us. They used to drop mortars on us every damn day. So, but our name for the Iraqis who mortared us, we called them all the Mad Mortarmen. And because it was just, we couldn't believe that they were actually doing that to us. So everybody, whenever the mortars started landing on our base, we'd say, oh shit, there comes the Mad Mortarmen again. And, or we would go out and try to catch these guys. We would say we were going out to get the Mad Mortarmen. So I got the nickname Mad Shitter thanks to the Mad Mortarmen one time. We were out late at night on the front gate of the base. Our base was a little place called Camp Slayer. And I was pulling guard duty on the tank. And long story short, it was the first time I'd ever been on guard duty out there. And it was late at night. Everybody else on the tank fell asleep, which they're not supposed to do. And I had to relieve myself. And I was so scared I wasn't about to wake them up. So long story short, I put the night vision goggles on my head. I grabbed an M16 and dropped my pants, climbed out of the tank, and I hung off the back of the tank, off the side of the tank turret, and I took a dump off the side of the tank. And I cleaned off my body, and I went back inside and felt pretty good about myself. And the next morning when the sun came up, the sergeant of the guard came around to relieve us. And part of his duties is to do a walk around of the tank before he relieves us. And as he was doing his walk around of the tank, he finds this big pile of shit right next to the tank. And he said, who the hell shit next to the tank? And I poked my head up out of the turret and I said, oh, that was me, Sergeant. And I got in big trouble because I didn't know as an 18-year-old, I didn't think anybody cared if I took a shit out there. But apparently that was against the rules. And they mostly thought it was funny, but I got in big trouble too. And they started calling me the Mad Shitter.